Hello everyone, last minute video for your prediction pleasure. I'm Christian Shreve, bestboxingbets.com. People want to know what I think about the Mikey Garcia fight for the World Featherweight Championship against Juan Manuel Lopez. Well, like everyone else, I'm picking Garcia to win, but I'm doing it for different reasons than other people. So, you know, one of the things as you develop your skill at this is you're going to see everyone looking off in this direction, and you're going to keep your focus over here. You're going to watch what's going on. You know, an illusion, when they're doing magic, do you know why they bring out a beautiful lady? So people are watching her while the real action happens. And so the reasons that I'm predicting are totally different. You know, people are saying, well, maybe Lopez has endured too much punishment. You know, maybe he's not as good as he was. This was the top-ranked #1 guy, man. He was on the flagship. He was moving forward. He was on point, representing them into the next era. The next South American Latin sensation, Puerto Rico's dynamite, man. We were looking at the reincarnation of Wilfredo Gomez. And now here's a couple of years later, and Bob Arum has jumped ship. He promotes him. He knows he's exciting, but he doesn't represent him the way he was. It's not like he'd do it with what he did with Antonio Margarito and get him out of a life sentence for attempted homicide over and over again. You know, this is somebody who's trying to come back, and people are saying, well, you know, he's absorbed too much punishment, or maybe he's not as good as he was, or maybe he's not this, or maybe he's not that. Listen, behind the scenes, that's not what's going on. And I'm sure you can get your hype and your press everywhere. So let's just get down to business on what we need to know. What we need to know is that Mikey Garcia has the style to beat him. What is it? Well, this isn't Mikey Garcia's, Juan Manuel Lopez's fight to win. It's Garcia's fight to lose. Why? You know, sometimes the gift is the curse. And in Lopez's perspective, that is absolutely the case. You know, he has one of the fastest knockouts in title fight history. It's like 47 seconds. Brilliant southpaw. He has hands down the best offensive capability in the division. And he does not take a bad punch. He just takes so many of them. Let me explain, because people seem a little bit thrown off. You are not. But for them, let's go over it a little bit. Okay, so he's a southpaw. Wonderful right hook. Wonderful right hook. That's what you need. Wonderful offense. Man, when he goes to the body, he really goes to the body. And he can move out offensively in position. He can come to the side. But then he rotates back in the firing line of the person that he's facing. Now, what's the problem? The problem is that he has almost no defense whatsoever. You know, from the outside, he holds his hands in the right position. Doesn't have the faintest idea what to do with them, but he holds his hands in the right position, and he'll do a little... Man, I'm moving my head, that's good, and I'm kind of circling a little bit, but as soon as he starts to throw, he is the one-trick pony, man. He's going to mow you down. So what happens? Well, he'll stand straight up right in front of someone, and he will get hit before he throws. Then he will get hit as he throws. Then he will get hit as he decides to throw more. Then sometimes he'll loop or bring down his shots, or bring them back very slowly, so he gets that receipt for his purchase back at him. Then, after he's completely thrown, he stands there and takes his shot on the chin. He doesn't move his head. He doesn't reset his position. He has one of the worst defenses ever. So it's not that he doesn't take a good punch. We're not talking about Amir Khan here. Amir Khan has decided not to be at the top of two divisions. Freddie Roach knows it. He's decided, I will march a guy down. Man, if he decided to be a boxer first, with a punching capability, and emulate the model set up with guys who have similar whisker issues like Vladimir Klitschko, with his size, his power, his coordination, his talent, he could be at the top. He decides not to be a champion. This is different. Lopez does not have a fundamental skill set to avoid anything. So he's hit all these times, and that's what Salido did. Salido didn't have an offense to compete with him. He would keep firing back. I'm in your face. I'm in your face. And he just beat the crap out of him gradually. And that's what you have to do. This isn't a guy with a weak constitution. You have to destroy his body. He has a heart this big, but the fact that he's having to rely on it is really sad. We're looking at a guy who's going to give a great couple of years, and then he's going to be gone. And a basic instruction set could help him. But I've watched his fight since his last loss to Salido, and he doesn't do it. And when I watch him absorb these beatings, bravely and heroically and courageously, I feel really bad for him, and I feel bad for his family, who's going to have to deal with the consequence of him not having his fundamentals in. On the other side is Garcia. A puncher steps like this. We have front foot, back foot. I'll be doing these from a ring soon, so you won't have to deal with this. But front foot, back foot. You can pick out, if you're a student of the game, if you're a predictor, you're going to recognize that a puncher is going to go back foot forward, so they can stock it, cock the barrel, and then boom, and then step out with their shot. A boxer will frequently move both of them at the same time, or almost near the same time, in the direction that they're going. Garcia does both of them interchangeably at will. I'll tell you a fighter who could do that. Sugar Ray Leonard could do that. That's who could do that. This is a guy who has the capability to do everything. You look at him, Roy Jones talked about it. He looks real plain, I'm not sure he's watching everything. He's watching everything. His brother was the trainer of the year last year. He's grown up with this. But what he has is this skill set, which is, I am patient, and I'm going to play chess with you. The guy that, guys like Garcia. You ever play poker? And you've got that guy who just goes check, check, check every time and draws it out. That's him. He's playing a fundamental game with you. I'm that way too, by the way. I know it can be annoying, but that's what he's going to do. He's going to stretch you. He's going to stretch you. So he's wonderful. He's diagnosed as a counterpuncher, but man, if there is ever a guy who has his fists in both camps, boxer, mobile counterpuncher, this is the guy. And he will catch you in between shots, or in between steps, with tight, short shots. You're down really before you know it. You saw that with Salido 4 times. So what do we have here? What we have is a recipe for some excitement. Now what Garcia is going to do is he's going to try and slow things down. Juan Manuel Lopez has to overcome the skill set. How does he do it? He draws his opponent into a war where he can use his superior offensive game and catch this guy. The problem is, if you look past the first element, which is style versus style, we've got one point ahead for Mr. Garcia. We go to number 2. Garcia will not be drawn in. He fights at his pace when he wants to. And defensively, what does he do? Well, he stands straight up. Somebody looking from a distance is going to say, these guys look kind of the same. They do, but what are you seeing? Well, Garcia will stand as that long torso. Reminds me of his build, kind of Arguello or Antonio Esparragosa. But he'll stand there and he'll catch it. He'll catch it and he'll slide it off on you. Or he'll move his head on the way in. Or he'll come down and then punch up. Or he'll reset his position. I mean, this is somebody who's doing a lot of different things. And he's getting better all the time. Emotionally, he's not going to be drawn in. So where Lopez could emotionally upset him is not going to work. That's 2. Number 3. Look. If I were somebody who was in a position where I had to say, I just can't tell you the truth. I just can't tell you the truth. Well, I wouldn't be doing this. So, number 3. We have 2 reasons to vote for Garcia, and they're not what people thought they were. They recognize the style versus style, but behind the scenes, this is happening in Dallas. You want to arrange a decision right now, you do so in Texas. Mexican boys right now, Mexican-American boys, they're not losing decisions in Texas. And until the powers that be get caught and they have to relocate their asset protection strategy to another jurisdiction in Texas, that's the way it's going to go. Especially with Top Rank moving their allegiance over to Garcia. They have the ring title, which is really the only title. Even though in this one division, I dispute the placement. I think it's Chris John or nobody. But Garcia is a man on the rise. And so while everybody over there is saying, well, the style, and he beat this guy who beat this guy, and we like this, and it's a great rivalry, Puerto Rico versus Mexico, what you're looking at is I have one reason to vote for Garcia, and that's not good enough. I have the style versus style, and that is not good enough. I have the emotional elements, the composure, the discipline within the style, what we call an attribute level or ability, internal ability factor, where he excels at that. And then you have number 3, the connections working his way. He won't lose a decision. Listen, I like Lopez. I can see he's gonna do the best he can. But unless Garcia has weakness to the whiskers we don't know about, he's going to win. Now that doesn't mean he doesn't. Look at last weekend's fight with Chad Dawson versus Adonis Stevenson. Dawson had faced a lot of really good fighters, but he hadn't fought a true puncher in a long, long time, and he wasn't prepared for it. You get great fighters. In the mid-1980s, Livingstone Bramble was the number 3 fighter pound for pound in the world. He was as versatile a technician as I've seen in the last 30 years of the sport. Man, he could do everything. He could cover up, he could take the shots, he could fight you lefty, righty. He had a full arsenal going out and back, patient, deliberate, and merciless in the ring. But he hadn't faced a real puncher, and Edwin Rosario about knocked his molars out of his head. So until you see it, and until we see Garcia against this one style, we have this small caveat. We haven't seen it. But what I predict is that he's going to take it. He's going to shut Lopez down. That's what you're looking to do. You're looking to shut him down. You don't want the right hook landing. You want to pivot and parry on the outside of that so that he has to step twice to line you up again and is walking into stuff. That's what I expect we're going to see. I think Mikey Garcia is going to take this one. I think he's going to take it for these reasons. And I think if you keep this in mind as you watch the game over the next little while, I think you're going to get more accuracy. I think you're going to make money. I think you're going to enjoy the game more. And I'm going to enjoy it with you. Christian Shreve, bestboxingbets.com. I'm Christian Shreve, and I'm here to tell you about why I think you should own my new book, Money Boxing, which is on sale now. Money Boxing has something for everyone, whether or not you know anything about boxing. You're about to receive a backstage pass into a world of glamour, corruption, and intrigue. And you're going to learn about the system, which is the only thing the casinos have had to fear in a long time. You can own Money Boxing by clicking on the link below now. I think you'll like it.